Shit. Narcian's back? Damn it. I'm really not in the mood for more Infernal stuff. I was looking forward to taking it easy for a little bit. Yeah. Totally didn't realize he was revived today. Yeah. No thanks, I guess. God damn it. I guess I have to now.
Very well.
Alrighty. So I think I'm just going to record this little bit ahead of time. And then I'll just like... What I usually do is record every try, and then I just save the one that I succeed. So... And watch the Julia magically turn into Robin. That transition seemed kind of fucking smooth. I was barely able to tell when I rewatched it that it just magically changed. Alright, so... I slowed down this clip. It's going about half speed, so you're not going to hear any game sounds because it's just going to sound like really fucked up. But this Infernal wasn't too hard. I think this is my third try. I tried the first one with Julia and she didn't work out, and then the second one with Robin, and I gave him reposition. Basically, long story short, you can essentially beat this map by abusing movement heavily. Like reposition, drawback, swap, stuff like that. Just getting units out of the danger area. This Infernal is actually generally pretty easy. I think, however, if this was a different map, one where they could actually, you know, overwhelm you, kind of like the other ones with reinforcements and shit, it would probably actually be really hard. Because on initiation, in the top left, if you put any character in the danger area, they're basically DED dead. So basically what you have to do to initiate is do one of two things. Have a character initiate on that sword unit to draw aggro from everybody and move them out of the danger area, you know, abusing movement support skills. Or B, you can put a very high defense flyer unit on those mountains to kind of tank a hit and start splitting up the army, because all those cavaliers are going to start running to try and get in range of you, and they're going to be going around the mountain to do it, so you can divide and conquer that way. I've chosen essentially the choke point strategy. It's pretty funny how these units have a crap load of breaker abilities. One of the bow units have sword breaker. Actually, no, the blue mage cavalier has sword breaker. The bow unit has green tome breaker, which is why I swapped out Julia. But overall, because of Robin and his Blair Raven with Triangle Adept, he's so easily able to deal with the bow units, especially considering how inflated their stats are. Like, pretty ridiculous. So, Ninian really doesn't do shit here. So if you have an Olivia, you can make do with that, because she really doesn't take any hits or deal any damage. She just kind of dances and get her ass saved by reposition. Clarice is a really nice bow unit to have. Ever since I gave her Fire Sweep, she's been doing just amazing. So, when you initiate using my strategy, you know, the reposition or drawback with a ranged unit, like, I tried initiating with Clarice, but I found it more efficient to do it with Robin, so I can build his ult, or his special skill. Sorry, I play Overwatch, so I say alt often. Oh, and by the same token, you could also replace Ike with, a more free-to-play friendly character. Maybe Xander, but he wouldn't be able to go into that square with the trees and then tank and counter Narcian. So that would probably change stuff up a lot. As you might be wondering why earlier I didn't have Ike go in and kill something using his special. That's because I was saving it for that green Cavalier there. I didn't really want to risk having to tank that hit despite Ike's weapon advantage, because his res is still pretty low. I didn't really want to risk it, so I went with the safer option. I usually try to bait in and then go in from there. I'm not terribly aggressive when it comes to these kinds of games. But yeah, here's Narcian. Wasn't too difficult, but I was kind of groaning at the thought of having to do Infernal again. Luckily, it only took me the 3 tries. Yes, I used a stamina potion, but that was actually because I used that first team with Julia in 10th Stratum to finish off the quest, and I ended up with barely any stamina left. Checked the notification. I was like, ah, shit. Generally, if I do a Grand Hero battle, I have to do it numerous times in a row, because if I leave and come back to it, I'm essentially going back from square one, and I forget how I did it in the first place. So, general tips for this one, I guess. It should be pretty manageable compared to other Infernals. If you haven't beaten an Infernal yet, I would suggest you try it at least a couple times. Maybe not necessarily use a stamina potion, but go ahead, go at it once your stamina's full if you got nothing else better to do. I'm starting to get used to using dancers more often. I usually don't actually use them, but ever since I got Ninian, I've been trying to get her SP up, and I've been starting to figure out things a little bit more efficiently. I'm just kind of showcasing what characters I used here. It wasn't too terrible, really, to either bait or kill the units, really. We're kind of used to the inflated stats, so you generally won't be doubling them. You'll just be outmaneuvering and kind of just, out-damaging them as per the usual. Nothing too out of the way here. There's no reinforcements, so it's basically just once you figure out the puzzle, you got it. Once I got my foot in the door on this one, on my second try, I was using Robin, and I ended up going all the way till the end, but then I misplaced one of my units. I forget exactly how. It doesn't really matter. But Robin ended up getting hit by the Green Tone Mage because I messed up my positioning. But I wasn't, on my subsequent try, I fixed the positioning error, obviously, and then I ended up doing just fine. So hopefully, you can beat this Infernal. Like I keep saying, it wasn't too difficult. If you're in my Discord, you can ask for help. You could probably replace Ike with any decent sword unit. He didn't do a heck of a lot, and I don't recall if I even used his distant counter with his Ragnall. So that probably won't be much of an issue. Most people have some sort of bow unit. Clarice didn't do a heck of a lot. I just had her finish off Narcian and then kill a mage, maybe 2. I think just 1. Wasn't it was alright. Luckily it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be. I was just really annoyed at the prospect of having to just sit down and slog through another Infernal. Luckily this wasn't the case. I'm done with reinforcement Grand Hero battles for now. let's go ahead and, you know, just stick a fork in it. It's done. It's done. I'm done with it. Please, no more. And don't get too creative. Okay? I've only got, you know, so many hairs. If I start pulling them out, I will be bald. I'll be like the sexy bald, though. Cue ball. Alrighty. At this point, I'm just ranting on and on, so I'm just going to cut it off right here. Good luck, guys. Hopefully you get your second Narcian. He's really great for Lancebreaker. Have fun. Looking forward to CYL. The hype is still real.